pain. Oh, the pain. The pain.
A little something more of the invention of Dr. Smith on Lost in Space. You're joining us for a discussion of Lost in Space versus Star Trek. The discussion is being held here at Long Island News Radio 103.9. The show is Everything Old is New Again. My name is Douglas Viviani. I'm here with my co-host, as always, David Cohen.
So where do we leave off? Have we solved the problem, or answered the question, I should say, as to which was better, whatever that means, Star Trek or Lost in Space? I
think we haven't yet. We need to dive into a little bit more and divulge a little more of the secrets behind the shows. But I would say that that this is something that is going to be argued through the ages, as long as we have VCRs and what do you call them? TiVos now? No. Behind the times I earn the terms.
You're a bubble-headed boob, yes. Doug. What can I say?
You're listening to Everything Old is New Again on LongIslandNews.com. I just wanted to take a look, since we talked a little bit about Dr. Smith and what he would be like if he was on the Enterprise. What would Dr. McCoy have been like if he was juxtaposed to the logical robot on Lost in Space?
I cannot accept that course of action. I cannot accept that course of action.
My computer is the best on Earth.
Does not compute. Does not compute. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Just wanted to give you a little bit of a background as to who the robot was. And quite frankly, in the beginning, that robot character, if you will, was analogous, I'm going to say, to Mr. Spock on Star Trek. I know it may shock you to say that, but the robot was logical throughout the series, and then became a little more emotional as he was exposed to the humans on his crew, as the same thing happened with Mr. Spock.
That's true. I remember one episode where the robot was, maybe this was early on, but he was sent off. Dr. Smith was sending him off to pasture somewhere, and I think the robot was actually crying a little bit. He was telling him to give my regards to the Robinson family. And
I think what you're talking about is the one that was Robbie the robot from Forbidden Planet, the movie from the 1950s. And that character, Robbie the robot, came on the show and replaced in the episode.
Oh, right, that's right.
Yeah, the robot, and
right.
we never got a name, by the way. What was that about? Robot, but okay.
Robot.
So Robot went off into the Wild Blue Yonder because the crew of the Jupiter 2 preferred the robot, Robbie the robot, if you will, from Forbidden Planet.
Ah, okay, that's true. That's true. But he had an affection for Will Robinson, as did Dr. Smith. I think they both did. They both liked the kid.
Yes, one appropriately, one, well, we'll say appropriately, but Dr. Smith certainly developed a unique friendship with
Bill Mumy. Bill Mumy.
Mm-hmm. Long story short, though, I still didn't get an answer, and I think maybe now we'll approach this in a little more detailed way by hearing what Dr. McCoy and how he would have reacted if there would have been any difference between the logical Mr. Spock or the robot.
Partial pressure of oxygen, 70 millimeters of mercury, nitrogen 140. Breathable if you're not running in competition.
Less talk, more action, please.
My orders were to give you a thorough physical. In case you hadn't noticed, I have to answer to the same commanding officer that you do.
In my opinion, it is not Professor Robinson who needs psychiatric treatment. It is his doctor.
I'm not a magician, Spock. Just an old country doctor.
You are a quack.
What?
A quack.
Well, I don't know why I was worried. You can't kill a computer.
Baloney.
Of course. A child could do it. A child could do it.
My sensors indicate the presence of aliens.
I've found that evil usually triumphs. Unless Good is very, very careful.
One of these days, I'm going to forget all my built-in protective circuits and zap him. Just one zap.
I'm trying to thank you, you pointed-eared hobgoblin.
On Mr. McCoy, Dr. McCoy's lines.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. It was suffice it to say that the answer of the doctors is going to be put aside for a moment. But Dr. McCoy certainly would have had difficulty with anyone. He's a cantankerous old coot,
yes,
if you will. I did want to talk about, let's say, the engineers of the program. Let's put it this way: you got Will Robinson, the child, versus Scotty. And Scotty's professed to be this miracle worker, and he's wonderful, and he's such a great engineer. Let's take a listen to see some of his best work.
Certainly, sir. How else can I keep my reputation as a miracle worker?
Scotty, keep things together till I get back.
I always do. I know this ship like the back of my hand.
I got 47 out of 150.
The automation system's overloaded. I didn't expect to take us into combat, you know.
I can't change the laws of physics. I've got to have 30 minutes.
Captain, we can't do it. If we keep this speed, we'll blow up any minute now. I can't give you warp 9 much longer, Mr. Spock. These engines are beginning to show signs of stress.
This guy, he's the most overrated engineer on the planet.
Just breaking up, Captain.
Did the guy fix anything? All I know is Will Robinson, the kid, went around that show. He fixed that robot. He fixed that ship. He got into danger and adventures everywhere and solved every problem.
Right.
And that's a little
unaccompanied by adults.
Right. So let's not.
He's
well. Let's talk about that's a little bit about the leadership qualities of his
right.
dad.
It was non-existent.
Right.
He was on his own.
So speaking of leaders, Kirk certainly would have handled and did handle aliens in a unique fashion. Let's just take a look and see how Captain Kirk deals with aliens.
From hell's heart, I stab at thee. For hate's sake, I spit my last breath at thee.
Have you not a shred of decency in you, Kirk? We come in peace, and you blatantly defy that peace. And for that, I shall blow you out of the stars.
I weary of the chase. Wait for me. I shall be merciful.
Dr. McCoy is right in pointing out the enormous danger potential in any contact with life and intelligence as fantastically advanced as this. But I must point out that the possibilities, the potential for knowledge and advancement is equally great. Risk is our business. That's what the Starship is all about.
Kirk, was there anybody as heroic as that on Lost in Space?
I don't think so. No one was as heroic. No one.
Or did anyone overact as much? I think so. Dr. Smith actually.
I just did.
Yes, you did. And Dr. Smith overacted just as much as William Shatner, I think.
But Dr. Smith, but he was playing this caricature character. You know what I mean? I think the point was that he was silly. So the overacting, I think, was part of the shtick.
All right. Well, in my view, I want to just last juxtaposition. I want to defend Captain Kirk as opposed to his overacting. Let's listen to how Dr. Smith dealt with the aliens of his day.
Let me get away. Oh, please, please, I'll do anything you want. Only let me go.
Don't worry about him, Will. The bad penny always.
Help, help!
Here he is now.
Help, help! 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 Somebody help! No! No!
Brave soul. And that's where the comedy came in, of course. But
yes.
One was heroic, and one of the main characters of Lost in Space was not.
Was not.
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting and fun to listen to all of these clips, but I want to encourage you, the listener, to communicate with us. We can be reached at oldnewagain@AOL.com, also at the LongIslandNews.com website, and feel free to tune in to Everything Old is New Again, where we are going to start the arguments you're going to love to have on 103.9 FM. Dave, what's the verdict?
Star Trek by a country mile, by a country doctor.
And what I'll do is I'll go to the convention and I'll pose the same question with the same quotes, and I'll come back with some real interesting discussion from the real Star Trek fan.
As long as you come back from the convention, Doug, I'll be happy. Don't go too far.
Let's enjoy it. Why don't you come on back and listen to us every Saturday night at 12 a.m.